YouTube, what it do is your boy Benji, and we are back in between the ropes. It's been a run this weekend, I ain't gonna lie. We got a lot of wrestling, and one way or the other, we here. We here as a crew. We here to check everything out. But here, I want to drop my initial thoughts and review on the Evolution pay-per-view, Evolution number 2 in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, this all seemed like it was part of the WWE's plot in order to try and keep the conversation this weekend centered around their product, and they put a lot of content out. I've already been one to say that the women's division is head and shoulders above a lot of what's going on in the men's division, and I think the opportunity is available for them to highlight a lot of the talent and build some better storylines. So, this is a great opportunity to at least see what the women can do without the guys involved at all. And I will tell you that this pay-per-view could have been monumental had they actually done the work to really build it up, instead of making us worry about Goldberg versus Gunther and Seth Rollins' evolution. But I will say, one of the stories that we've seen build coming from dating back to WrestleMania, these women were destined to have a triple threat match. The crowd was hype and ready. And again, we've seen these all three of these women match up multiple times. They put together good matches. So we've seen them do it one-on-one. So adding a third person in there is going to be exciting. And exciting it was. They worked together very smoothly. And whether or not they want to argue and debate if there's any real animosity there, end of the day, they compete. And compete they did. They was hooping. They was hooping out there. There was some interesting pin techniques. We did get to see some submissions pulled out, reversals. It was good. And you would think all the times that these women have seen one another in the match, they should be well versed on one another's movesets. There was a couple of dope breakups that led to a Bayley Rose plant on Lyra Valkyria. And once Bayley goes for the pin, Becky sneaks in and pins Bayley with like a roll-up tile type deal. And that's all she wrote. Becky retains. Becky Hogensteins are hilarious. But at this point, I like a lot of the things that Becky's been pointing to. I've mentioned that over the duration of these feuds, Becky's been spitting straight facts, straight venom on the mic. How can she be Becky Hogan when in any other world, Tom Brady continues to win, LeBron James continues to win, and at the very least, the fans cheer for them to win? Why would she not want to continue to win? She don't want to go back to her daughter a loser. We love to rate the events in total with yay, nay, and somewhere in between is an okay. But I'll talk about some of these matches. This match is okay, and I really think that they can rinse, wash, and repeat and continue to have this storyline build and build and build. I didn't really get anything that showed that there is going to be any progression in this feud, that they're going to introduce other characters, or if there's going to be some character development from one of these people. I wish that we could have seen maybe something alleging to something. Again, like, if you continue to do things the same way and you see the same results and you don't make any changes, it makes you crazy. So at this point, we can just wait. But great way to open up the show. We then got Jacey matching up against Jordynne Grace. Jacey Jane is an NXT champion that a lot of people weren't expecting. Plenty of people have thought that Jordynne Grace was just going to show up there and just receive the belt, and that was going to be that. But that was not the case. At the very least, the good thing is Jacey Jane has plenty of people by her side that help her when the going gets tough. And I think that makes the most sense. I don't understand why, if you're not a winner, you wouldn't have people under you looking to mimic all of your greatness and try to find every way to be more like you, or at the very least support your goals and journeys. You can't do it all by yourself. There were certainly a bunch of moments where you thought Jordynne Grace was going to just take it. Like, she's super strong. But all in all, it's great to see the NXT women getting an opportunity and showing that they can hoop. Because again, I believe that there's plenty of talent down there in NXT. And if they can write a lot of these stories the right way, flesh a lot of these characters out, we got some real hoopers down there. But yeah, these women could not stay down. Now, the biggest moment of this match was Blake Monroe, who was new to the NXT roster and was actually asked to be ringside from Jordynne Grace prior to this match, turning on Jordynne Grace, whacking her with the belt, leading to Jordynne Grace losing. This could possibly be some direction for Blake Monroe. Solid match, and we'll just kind of see what materializes next. think the women's division is starting to get some parity down there in NXT. We're not just centering around the couple of women, and we see the depth in that roster. So I'm interested to see what may come of Miss Monroe. But if she's going to align herself with Jacey Jane, it's only a matter of time before she chases that belt. We then got the matchup of Raquel, Roxanne, Alexa, Charlotte, Soul, Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors. All for the tag team championships. If you've been paying attention to WWE, or if you haven't paid attention to WWE, you probably forgot that there was even a women's tag team division. You probably forgot that there was women's tag team champions. But we finally get to see these belts being defended, and Roxanne steps in for Liv Morgan, and the commentators, everything points to the fact that Roxanne is just a placeholder champion. She's just there until Liv Morgan gets back. So Raquel doesn't really trust her. She's really unsure of her as a teammate. But they did a really good job throughout this match playing that up. But it's not like they had to work hard. If you really had to think about it, there's only really 2 legitimate tag teams in this match. Zarya and Soul have become tag team partners recently. And if I'm Soul, do I really care about getting this? No. But if I want to be like Mercedes Moné, yes. That's two belt Soul already. So, I mean, if she can go grab a 3rd belt, sure, why not? But she's got enough on her plate. If you're the Kabuki Warriors, both of y'all just came back from injury within the last couple of weeks. And then got thrown into a tag team match. But at the very least, what this match has shown is that the Charlotte experiment is working. Her being alongside Alexa Bliss is really gaining her the opportunity to be cheered again and take a lot of the heat off of her. They've been dressing it up and drumming it up too, that she doesn't really like Alexa, but for some strange reason, Alexa just wants to go get another belt. And I guess he realized that she can't do it in the singles division, so she said you might as well go taste tag team gold. But yeah, the crowd was actually going crazy for her. But y'all are falling for it. If you really think about it, Charlotte already has done everything in the singles division. So if she just adds tag team championships, wouldn't this continue to inflate her ego? That she would just be that good? End of the day, we see another moment of miscommunication between Zarya and Sol Ruca, leading to Raquel absolutely decimating the competition. Raquel doesn't seem to trust Miss Roxanne, but at the very least, they can stay winning. Can't lie, this match is pretty good. I think any match that has Sol Ruca in it is going to have some banger. Or it's going to be a banger match. My fault, it's hot as heck right now, bruh. And don't be fooled. Charlotte and Alexa are not done. I mean, these women are going to have to defend their championship belts again, right? They got to, right? Like, somebody's got to complain, right? At the very least, I'm sure this is something that's going to wake up the hunger in Charlotte Flair so that she will now actually really work on becoming a proper teammate. Another okay match. We then got the legend Trish Stratus matching up against Tiffany Stratton. Look, one of y'all was arguing with me in the comments not the other day about my takes on Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I don't think it's a bad match. I think it's something that a lot of fans were clamoring for. I just think that we have a lot of talent backstage that can get an opportunity. The good thing is we have a pay-per-view like this that was able to dress up a lot of women. But again, now we're back to ground zero because after this match, what does Tiffany Stratton do? It's not like any other competitors have been highlighted. Tiffany is absolutely confusing for me. Again, I don't understand her character. Like, she went from being this preppy girl who got daddy's money to suddenly she was the center of the universe. And then now she's trying to be humble. And now she's worked so hard. And she's at the point now where she comes out and is shaking fans' hands and smiling and cheesing. Just look at this, though. Look at this. Again, I mentioned how Trish Stratus hasn't had singles competitions in a while. So her return to the WWE is a singles competition match, and it's against a woman that she just teamed with. But anyways, almost 200 days as a champion and 6 times defending your title. I mean, again, why should any of us care about that championship if you don't care? And the people backstage don't care. By people backstage, I'm going to speak in kayfabe. If the people back there are not clamoring for an opportunity to receive this belt, not named Nia Jax or Bayley. If nobody cares, why should we? The match was cool. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect Trish Stratus to move the way she was moving out there, but she loses. My predictions at this point, I'm 2 for 3. I think I predicted that Charlotte and Alexa were gonna win the match prior to this, so it's coming. But yeah, another okay match. I don't know. It could be my personal opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Tiffany Stratton has been looking real rusty to me these matches. I don't know. Maybe it could be because of the people that she's matching up against. The style-wise, they've clashed. But yeah, she's been looking real sloppy. And again, this is where I get confused about Tiffany Stratton, because after the match, she starts poking fun at the people in the crowd. She's like, I told you. And then when the ref holds her hand up, she shrugs her off. But at the very least, shout out to Trish Stratton. I'm sorry, dang, I keep saying Stratton. Trish Stratus. I'm sure that this moment means a lot for her and for the things that she was able to do for the women's division and all of wrestling. So that's the only reason I'm going to make this match an okay. Simply because it has Trish Stratus and it's a great payback for what she's done. We then got Jade Cargill versus Naomi, where Bianca was a special guest referee. I thought Bianca being the special guest referee was again going to mean something, but didn't really. She pretty much did her job. She let the women battle it out. I didn't know this was like a no holds barred match. So like when the match started and they're reaching under the ring for like weapons, I'm like, whoa, Bianca, what we doing? But yeah, they got after it. I'm not gonna lie. They pulled all the gimmicks out. I did think it was hilarious too that Jade Cargill grabbed the camera from one of the cameramen and then hits Naomi with it and then launches it out of the ring to just implode. There were definitely some botches in this match, but the one thing I will mention that was highlighted in this match, not really by the commentators, but by Bianca and the facial expressions that Jay was able to make of her and the conversations that Naomi was able to have with her. She's torn. She has to pick a side. I ain't gonna lie, they were taking some bumps I didn't expect them to take. Like Naomi's nose was slit open and there was a gnarly Jade from the top rope. Bianca even seemed sad that Jade won. I thought this was going to be a moment where something was going to happen, but it didn't. I did think it was kind of deflating for a lot of the crowd here because a lot of people, I'm sure, assumed that Naomi was going to win. That was my prediction for this match. So I was a little confused. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, Naomi has the Money in the Bank briefcase. Her defeating Jade and still having the Money in the Bank briefcase wouldn't make much sense now, would it? Especially since Jade is already mentally moved past her a long time ago. And it was Naomi who had to drag Jade back into this. Again, I just enjoy this feud. There's so many different layers that they could really tap into. And I'm glad they've done what they've been able to do with it. This has been my favorite feud in the WWE. And because I didn't expect these women to go through tables and stuff like that, I'll give them a yay. Let me know if I'm doing too much. The next match we got was this huge battle royale. Nothing much to see here other than Chelsea Green and the Secret Service antics. Shout out to all the women that got opportunities. Chelsea Green is just incredible, bro. We did get this hilarious moment where everyone in the ring just mocks Nikki Bella's like emote. And then Nikki has to show everybody how it's done. I will mention I didn't predict the final two to be Stephanie Vaquer and Last Legend. Well, my winner was predicted to be Stephanie Vaquer, but I didn't expect Last Legend to be there. But then I thought about it. I was like, oh, they're in Atlanta. Last Legend's from Atlanta. That makes perfect sense. It didn't really go the way I thought it was going to go, but Stephanie Vaquer did cut a heartfelt promo at the end, and she's been letting everybody know that even though English isn't her first language, wrestling is, and she's dedicated to work hard and in order to become a better wrestler and speaker. So in reality, in every endeavor, she wants to be the best. But yeah, ultimately, it was like the devil's kiss that knocked Miss Lash Legend out enough in order for Stephanie to win it. Stephanie's awesome, but this match didn't really show any of her abilities. So, I mean, again, like I said, the only interesting thing about this match was Ms. Green. I got to give this match an A, unfortunately. A match with like 30 women in it, and it just kind of comes off as convoluted and messy since there's 30 people fighting at the same time, and you can't even really pinpoint. Like me watching it, I couldn't pinpoint what was going on. And so when there were certain moments, I guess maybe it seemed as if the producers wanted the crowd to focus on, the crowd couldn't focus because there was so much going on. So they were like quiet. During some of the eliminations and big moves and big spots. Throwaway match for me. I don't really know what can come of this other than Stephanie Becker being at least a challenger. For anybody else that was in the match, don't think it means anything for them. We then finally got Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. And this is, I'm not going to lie, surprisingly a very good match. And I don't want to say surprisingly because Io puts together bangers. And y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about Rhea Ripley, but she typically tends to put together some good matches as well. She's kind of like the ultimate wrestler. She's got a good blend of power, agility, technical ability, and she can get on the top ropes and do the hardcore stuff. But we did get some moments where they all powered up, both of them. We got Super Rhea and Super Io. They both kicked out of each other's finishes. They decided to take everything to the crowd while the referee was knocked out. Like, Io ended up jumping off like a balcony for a crossbody. I ain't gonna lie, it was a good match. And the match got even better when we heard the music go off from Naomi. I tried to keep it calm and cool because we know how Triple H likes to do this. They botched this right here because Alicia Taylor is announcing her. She continues to just add more words onto the end. I didn't know what she was doing. And so the bell kept ringing. And Naomi gave Miss Taylor the box or the briefcase and then takes the briefcase back and then tries to find a referee. I don't know. But I'll chalk it up to if you were somebody who had just a small window of opportunity to cash in on downed opponents and win a major championship, you'd be acting crazy in kayfabe as well. So she actually does successfully cash in and hit split-legged moonsault to win. Now this was the icing on the cake, the cherry on top for this match. My biggest gripe was, what are they going to do if Rhea just wins this match? What are they going to do for Io? Now, I think this could mean something. Finally, we get an opportunity for Naomi to slide your tail over to Raw. Again, I don't understand why a lot of these competitors, why a lot of the matches, stipulations, everything is set up for you to be brand specific. It's an easy tell for a lot of the viewers when you know that, oh, well, this person's holding the belt. Like, everybody we knew that John Cena had the belt. Nobody's catching in on him. Nobody's going to defeat him. There's not really any hope for the division, right? John Cena doesn't even show up on SmackDown, so nobody's challenging for that belt. This was a good swerve. Not going to lie, did not expect this. So everything fell into line well. It all makes sense, especially since Jade Cargill has a match against, I'm assuming it's going to be Tiffany Stratton. I don't think anybody will beat her, but we could possibly carve her into this. This could maybe mean something for Io Sky. We could probably see some character development for her. Because all we've seen from her is she works hard, she goes out there, she hoops, she wins, she goes home. That's it. This might mean that she might have to start thinking things through, watch her back, seeing who's her friends. This could mean something for an absolute crash out for Rhea. She could start crying. She could demand a match. She could do whatever she wants to do. Or Naomi could tell her to get back at the line. I'm glad to see what Naomi has been able to do with this character. I'm glad to see what Naomi's been able to do when she's able to grab the reins. Like I said, if you follow her on social media, she's amazing. She's been cutting some great promos. She dedicated herself. She's got a new style, new swag, new entrance, new persona, new character. She does not mess around. And I'm glad to see that we actually have a bad guy. Again, she's carrying one of the best feuds, and I think that her personality, her character itself, will be able to yield some positive results for the production of WWE Raw and possibly SmackDown. And at least add more parity to the division. We got to switch it up, see some different matchups. I'm excited about that. So I got to get this match a yay. All in all, Evolution number 2 was not bad. Way better than Saturday Night's main event. And I think many of us thought that it would have been. Again, limited build, limited storylines, injuries, a lot of things plagued what could have been potentially an amazing Evolution number 2. But we got what we got, and I'm not too upset about it. WWE normally put me to sleep in something like this, but they were actually able to do something that makes me interested to watch what's going to happen on Raw. I got to salute them for this as a whole. Of course, in the micro, I can nitpick and point out plenty of things I dislike. At the end of the day, I'm just happy Naomi was able to win. She worked hard. And again, this does create a window of opportunity on the Raw division. Another champion. Thank you. Another character. This allows plenty of people to bounce off potentially. And again, I'd be a little bit more excited to what we may see, but unfortunately, there hasn't been any challengers over the last 2 years. I do think this was solid too, because if you really think about it, we got multiple matches. Again, the women carried. And they barely get TV time. Time starts pushing things up. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below.